get the help that you need to become more decisive. Because when you're taught and led by a proper example of excellence and you're held to a higher standard and held accountable, you will grow and you will change. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? BC here. This is the first episode I'm doing after chopping off the hair. You guys will probably see this before I do the announcement and post the pictures and the videos. But so along the lines of that decision and doing that and moving forward, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today kind of relates to that, right? Because one thing that I've forged in myself, especially the last 10 years being in entrepreneurship and real estate and doing stuff on social media, but even as an athlete when I was younger, and something that I constantly learned from studying like big people, successful people who were like the movers and the shakers, people who were at the forefront of like society and technology and innovation, right? And something that I really instill in the students and the people around me is we need to be decisive, right? Like you need to be much more decisive. Like when the thought comes in, from the thought coming in and the inception of the thought to the action being taken needs to be like reduced to like an instant. But what do we normally do, right? We'll watch something, it'll inspire us. Oh, I'd like to do that someday. And then maybe you sit on that for a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year. Then maybe you hear somebody talk about that idea that you had forgotten about and got swept under the rug. And then suddenly you're inspired again. And then maybe you take one step. And then before you know it, it takes 3 or 4 years, right? And we've all either done this ourselves or we know people who took years to get their real estate license or get certified as a personal trainer or whatever it is, when that's really what they wanted to do. But for whatever reason, the execution from idea to execution took way too long, right? So same thing with this. Like right now, I'll tell you guys, I didn't even sleep last night, right? Every once in a while, you guys have heard me explain this over the years. I won't sleep. I'll read, I'll get on the computer, I'll do some stuff. Like I didn't sleep, and that's fine, right? And I'm still here doing my thing. It's not an excuse to stay home and just sleep in, right? But when it came to like the decision to cut my hair, a day or two ago, I wouldn't even have thought of cutting it. But then the thought came in and I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it again and ask myself the question, yeah, I'm going to cut it. And I cut it, right? You make the decision and you move. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I regret it. No, I made the decision and I'm going to move. If I decide to grow out my hair again, I'll grow it out again. Not a problem, right? But I'm decisive in every area of my life. And that's another key, is this needs to be universal in your life, meaning every area. Right? You're not going to be picky and choosy about your decisiveness. You're not going to be decisive when it comes to your health and fitness, but then with your finances, you're not. Like, no, dude, all this stuff spills over. You've heard the saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I really look at the decisiveness factor a lot. Like, let's say I get on a strategy call with somebody, right? And they're really considering my coaching, right? Well, the reality is, whether it's me or somebody else, the vast majority of people won't sign up. And it's because of this. They won't make the decision. And I say, look, man, I'm not going to twist your arm. I'm not going to force you to do this. You know you need it. I know you need it. Everybody knows you need it. But you ultimately have to make the choice. And individuals are so indecisive. They make these justifications and excuses, then they don't do it. And this goes to everything, whether it's a career change, signing up for mentorship and coaching, right? Changing, like a lifestyle habit, like quitting smoking or something like that. People are just indecisive. And the classic example I always give is people are so damn indecisive, just generally speaking, they can't even pick what they're going to fucking eat when they go out. I mean, it's pathetic. I've had to choose food for people because they take too long and the waiter has to come like 4 times. I'm like, bro, he's going to take this. Like, come on, man. Really? If you can't even decide what you're going to eat, how can you decide to sell your home or buy a house, change your life, change your career? I mean, come on, man. It gets ridiculous. And people look at this, and I'll cover this 2 ways, right? Number one, they think your decision-making process isn't something that you can develop. Or number 2, they look at it as, well, you have what you have, right? If you're decisive, that's just something you were born with, right? And that's what it is. And what I have now in regards to my decision-making process, it is what it is and I can't change it, right? So there's 2 pieces there. So number 1 is you need the awareness to know that you can change it. You can go from being extremely indecisive to decisive. How do we know this? Well, I'm an example. I wouldn't say I was ever, in most areas, extremely indecisive, but I've definitely honed this skill and this ability over the last 10 years. Absolutely. That's going to require you to make bad decisions. Yes, you're going to make bad decisions. I've made a ton of bad decisions, a ton. Whether, again, finances, lifestyle, relationships, business. I mean, I can go on forever. I can give you a laundry list. But what I do is I learn from them. Why? When you do make a wrong decision, it teaches you a lot. In fact, it teaches you many times much more than a good decision. Because a good decision, all it means is you made the decision and then it worked out, whatever you thought your original plan was. Good. That further fortifies your ability to make those decisions faster, right? However, when you make a bad one, you'll sit there and be like, oh, what was the error? Oh, that was the error. Okay, now I know for next time. You see? Number two, there's risk involved with decisions. Again, go back to the example, signing up for the coaching. Of course there's risk. Because I'm assuming you're going to put in the work if you sign up for my stuff. I know it works, but are you going to work and show up and not give up on yourself? I can't control that. So there's a risk from that factor involved in the decision. Absolutely. We're going to have to roll the dice. The spoils go to the risk takers. I put that as a quote today on my Facebook and Instagram if you follow me there, right? The spoils go to the risk takers. That doesn't mean they throw caution to the wind all the time, but they take risks. You have to take risks, man. And that's how you build your decision-making process, is by taking risks, because typically that factor is what stops people from doing anything and living in this cushy, comfortable misery, quotes, in quotes, bubble, where it's not comfortable, but it's not that uncomfortable, so I'll just deal with it and be okay with it, which is insane when you think about it. Like, why would you live that way? Why would you subject yourself to average when you want more, if you want more? Right? If you're okay with average and that's what you want, cool, more power to you. But then don't ask for more. Don't post quotes. Don't talk about how you're going to be more. Just accept that you wanted average. But I would ask many of you, who do you know and who are you around that's making decisions all the time? Big decisions, huge decisions, small decisions, making them quickly and in abundance. I'll wait. Probably not that many people, right? Because if we don't demand more of ourselves and the environment and the people around us don't demand more of us, we'll skate by doing the bare minimum and we won't work on our decision-making process. You're going to have to put yourself in a position where you're forced to do it, right? Because we tend to do the bare minimum, right? We'll do what we need to do. And if we're in a position where we're held to a high level of accountability, the people around us are demonstrating excellence, and we're forced in this example to improve our decision-making process, we will. But however, just like I mentioned earlier, you have to put yourself in that position. It's not going to fall into your lap. You come to me, oh, I will hone that in you for sure. But you got to step up. You're not going to do it watching my videos and listening to my podcast, because that's not forcing you to do anything. You're just taking what you can get, right? Think of the last time, maybe growing up with sports, you had a coach that was tough on you, that demanded more of you. They saw something in you and that's why they pushed you, but you had to sign up for the team and show up to practice and your parents had to pay the money, right? That's what put you in that position, but you were held to a higher standard and forced to do it, or you had to quit, or you were kicked off the team. But it was, hey, if I'm going to stick with this team and stay on this path, I need to do blank. Run faster, show up more, push more of myself, work out when I'm not there, right? Get some extra practice in. See, it forces you to grow. This is why I always urge people to get into stuff that's competitive, like sports, especially for their kids or for them, even in their downtime. Do something that gets the competitive juices flowing, right? Because it builds something within you, right? That's one of the most untapped resources in most human beings, is that competitive edge and that competitiveness that they can activate. There's nothing wrong with it. It's good, right? Run a sprint. Here's how you know how powerful this is. Run a sprint, even like a timed 40-yard dash, which at my fastest, I ran like a 4.3 something, right? I was always a good sprinter and jumper, right? I could jump high and run fast. But I guarantee you, if you timed my 40 when I was playing football, I played football 1 year and I would mess around and play flag football and touch football all the time, right? Because I just enjoyed it. If you compared my sprint speed, my 40, getting chased by somebody who wanted to tackle me compared to me just running a 40, I would guarantee you, me getting chased by somebody, because of the competition, I was faster. We all know this. So it pushes you beyond what you would normally be capable of, is what I'm getting at here, right? And even I would surprise myself. I would outrun somebody or not get tackled. I'm like, damn, I kicked it up into another gear, but it's because I didn't want to get tackled, right? It's really that simple. So we need to tap into that, and we need to make sure that we address the decisiveness. You really need to become more decisive. And like, again, put this up on the list of, okay, I really need to address this. Because again, if you can't choose what clothes you're going to buy or what you're going to eat, I mean, forget the business decisions, because those are so basic. I mean, it's nuts. And same thing with being bold and taking a risk and being more decisive. Whatever is that next 2, 3, 4 decisions you need to take it. Take the step. Ask for help. reach out to me, whatever it is, and get the help that you need to become more decisive. Because when you're taught and led by a proper example of excellence and you're held to a higher standard and held accountable, you will grow and you will change to degrees and a magnitude that you never dreamed possible. That I can guarantee. However, like I said, you have to step up and put yourself in that position, because that's the ultimate step that needs to be taken by the individual. I've done it my whole life. I continue to do it. And I'm so happy that I continue to do it and make myself uncomfortable and hold myself to a higher standard, because it equals the results that people envy and that they want. And I keep achieving more and more. Okay, that's it for this one, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy the buzz cut. If you don't, I don't care. All right, peace.